VendorRFQ is an integrated solution enabling you to communicate with your vendors, discuss and negotiate pricing, and award the winning bid all in one place. VendorRFQ can be accessed from both QuoteWerks Desktop and QuoteWerks Web. In this video, we'll show you how easy it is to use the basics of VendorRFQ with QuoteWerks Desktop. All right, so let's go ahead and get started by adding some items here to our quote. We'll go ahead and add a UPS to get started here. And we'll go ahead and get price and availability. And as you can see, Tech Data has the lowest cost. None of them have stock, so this is definitely a reason to send an RFQ, is to find out which vendors will actually be able to get stock on the items that I'm looking for. So we'll go ahead and add this item. Maybe we say we want 5 of these. Click on Add. And we'll go ahead and select a keyboard and get price and availability on those as well. Go ahead and select Cinex, do 5. And so now we've got a couple of items here on our quote, so let's go ahead and save it. We'll do UPS and keyboard, just as a name, and click on OK. And now let's go ahead and send our RFQs out to our vendors. You can select one of these or both of them, or anything in between, just depending on what you have on your quote. We'll go ahead and send RFQs for both of these items and just do Control A, or you can multiple select them. And we'll go ahead and click on Add and create the new RFQ. Now we can select which vendors we want to send the RFQs out to, and you have the ability to add as many vendors as you want, and we'll show you how to do that in a future video. So I've selected Cinex and Tech Data. We'll go ahead and click on OK. We'll do the RFQ name. This is something both you and the vendors will see, so just be careful of what you put there, and it's going to default to the name of the document. And then from there, we've got internal notes. Maybe you don't have some, or you could say something like workstations for XYZ company, or whatever you want there. But we do now have the notes that our Cinex rep is going to see. So let's go ahead and say, need by Friday of next week. And click on OK. So that'll send that RFQ out to Cinex. Click on OK. Now we're going to send it to Tech Data. Remember what the notes were, because most likely they're going to be pretty similar to what you had for your previous rep. So we'll click on OK. And just like that, with a couple of clicks there, we sent RFQs to 2 different vendors for those 2 different items. And that's why it's got 4. We've got 2 times 2 is 4. So we'll click on OK. Now let's go ahead and take a look at this up on VendorRFQ. And we're just going to select an item and click on View. And it's going to go ahead and log us into VendorRFQ using our QuoteWerks credentials on the back end there. And as you can see, we've got our 2 items here, the UPS and then the keyboard. And as we can see, we haven't received any responses from any of our vendors. But taking a look at this, maybe I want to invite some other vendors to bid as well. And to do that, all I need to do is go back to QuoteWerks here, Control A, go ahead and click on plus. And this time we're going to select the option to invite more vendors to bid. We'll click on OK. We'll go ahead and select all of them this time, and by next week. So it'll be a little different, so that'll go out to ProVantage, and then XYZ Parts Unlimited. And just like that, we sent 2 more RFQs out to vendors. So now we've got 4 RFQs out there with just a few clicks. Let's go ahead and wait and see what our vendors say and when they come back and bid on these RFQs. All right, so I've waited a little while and I got some notifications letting me know that my vendors had responded. So let's go ahead and take a closer look here. And what I'll do is go ahead and highlight an item here and click on the sourcing panel. If you've used Eatalize in the past, it's the exact same panel. It's just being repurposed in this case for VendorRFQ. So it's going out, it's getting our RFQs. We can click on the retrieve real time, so it'll go out and get real time as well. But what we're going to focus on today is really this RFQ section here. So at this point, Tech Data and ProVantage have gotten back to us. So let's go ahead and take a closer look. It does look like there are some price conditions that they entered in for Tech Data. So let's go ahead and click on the arrow there, and that's going to take us over to VendorRFQ. And as you can see, Tech Data has responded with $187, but it does have a condition here for must order by Monday. Sorry about that. And then we can see that Synnex has viewed the document, XYZ Parts has not viewed the RFQ, and ProVantage is also submitted as well. Let's go ahead and expand this out. It looks like we do have one new comment. In this case, it is for ProVantage here. We go ahead and bring that down. It looks like they don't have stock for this item. So let's go ahead and keep all of our vendor communications centralized and go ahead and send a message to Synnex on this one. Do you have any pricing for me? And we'll just go ahead and copy that, post, and we'll go down here, and we'll go ahead and do that again for XYZ here. So what that does is it sends those emails off to those vendors, but it's keeping it all in one spot. And if you were using email, you would have to know that you hadn't received a response from XYZ Limited yet. And all you have to do, like you saw there, was you just type a message on the screen, and that'll notify the vendor that you're still waiting on a response from them. You don't have to find your original email and then forward it again to the vendor. And then actually, let's go ahead and ask Tech Data if they can do any better on this. So that way you can do a little bit of negotiations as well. So let's go ahead and wait and see if they come back with any responses. All right, so let's go ahead and update QuoteWerks here to see if we've gotten any better responses from our vendors here. It does look like we did get pricing from a couple of the other vendors, so let's go ahead and go back. And if I hadn't already said it already, what is great about this screen is that you can see all your vendor responses all in one place. So if you'd done this via email, all this information would be spread out in various emails that you'd have to manually manage. And if you'd sent it out by email, it would be difficult to compare the different responses from each of your vendors. So it looks like we've gotten responses now from all of our vendors. We've got a comment here from Synnex, and Tech Data and ProVantage has the lowest prices, so we'll want to take a closer look at that. And we'll scroll down, and it looks like we've gotten comments from everybody. So let's go ahead and move forward here. To do that, what we're going to do is go back to QuoteWerks here. And let's go ahead and award the bid or close the bidding. So in this case, for this item here, we're going to go ahead and select ProVantage. And to do that, all we're going to do is double click and click on yes. And that basically just closes the bidding on this item. So that way no other vendors will be able to provide pricing. They can comment, but that's about it. All right, so let's go ahead and go to the other item. And let's go ahead and get real-time one more time on this. What that's going to do is go out and get the real-time price and availability. And just to also reiterate here, we're trying to get the best price. We've received real-time for some of these items and imported others. With VendorRFQ, we can easily compare each vendor's responses and select the best one. So in this case, we do have Tech Data here as the lowest price, and we'll go ahead and double click and close the bidding, and that's it. This was just a quick overview of the VendorRFQ workflow. As you have seen, VendorRFQ is a great way to keep all of your vendor communication centralized. What are you doing now? This is doing it automatically. If you have questions, please visit VendorRFQ.com or call 407-248-1481. Have a great day.